Chairman Manchin, thank you. I want to begin by thanking the chairman and the ranking member for holding this hearing on outdoor recreation. It's a topic of high importance for so many Montanans, including this Montanan sitting up here today. Outdoor recreation is truly a fundamental part of our Montana economy. In fact, a recent Department of Commerce report found that outdoor recreation accounts for over 4% of Montana's GDP. That's the highest percentage nationally of any state. It accounts for over 26,000 jobs in Montana. But outdoor recreation is more than just a massive economic driver in Montana. It's also a part of our heritage and our very way of life that we are proud of back home. In fact, 98% of Montanans say outdoor recreation is important to their quality of life. I want to talk to those 2% back home that said it wasn't, but we're at 98%. 87% consider themselves outdoor recreation enthusiasts. However, overly complex and bureaucratic permitting processes can make it more difficult to access our public lands and put a burden on our small businesses in Montana. I want to thank Senator Heinrich for his leadership on the bipartisan SOAR Act, which I'm proud to co-sponsor, and it aims to streamline the permitting process for outfitters and guides who operate on public lands. Because of Montana's checkerboard land ownership patterns, it's quite common out west. An outfitting trip will often cross into multiple land agencies, sometimes in just one day. Since each federal land agency has a separate permitting process, this means that our guides and outfitters have to go through multiple departments and permitting processes just for one trip. This is duplicative, it's inefficient, it costs our agencies as well as our outfitters time and resources, and can even impact user experience as well as fundamentally access. Mr. Lambrecht and Mr. French, how will establishing a one-stop shop for multi-jurisdictional permits such as these save agency resources and time and enhance recreational access? We'll start with Mr. Lambrecht.
Thank you, Senator Daines. Really appreciate the question. I'm sure you've talked to a lot of the same outfitters and guides that I have, and so I've got a really strong understanding of the challenges that they have, as you mentioned, with the checkerboarded land ownership pattern in western states. The outfitters and guides have to secure permits from a BLM district office or from a Forest Service ranger district and maybe a state agency, all for one day. The same is true of a river guide. Where, say, on the Gunnison River, you might start in a Park Service situation and go through BLM or Bureau of Reclamation. So having a one-stop shop permitting opportunity for multi-jurisdictional trips certainly makes sense. If we can establish a lead agency and work with the sponsor to address certain issues that we might have, different agencies have different NEPA processes, for example. So some of those things need to be ironed out, but we believe we can do it. I think the Bureau of Land Management is ideally situated to facilitate this process because of a new recreation and permitting tracking online reporting system that we have implemented in a pilot process where we now have 38 permits that we've issued that allows a permittee to apply for and receive and pay for. It's a permit all online automatically, and we're able to track that as well. So,
Mr. Lambrecht, thank you. That's exactly what we're hearing as well, so I appreciate your efforts there, too. I want to let Mr. French have a thought on that as well.
Oh, I agree, and I think the biggest beneficiary here are the permittees themselves, the folks coming to get services from the federal government. Anything we can do to make it more efficient for them, I think is helpful.
Mr. Turner, from the outdoor industry perspective, how would this provision benefit both visitor experience and small businesses in a place like Montana?
Yeah, I actually heard from Montana Guide and Outfitter this week outside of Cook City who had this exact issue, 3 different permits for a one-day trip. So 3 different costs, 3 different permit structures, costing the government time and the permittee time. And, you know, what I'm thinking about a lot is these guides and outfitters that have suffered greatly from closures during COVID, then COVID mitigation efforts, then severe wildfire, flood, and drought. They need a leg up right now, more so, you know, maybe than even other segments of our sector. And really improving the permitting system is the leg up I think these businesses could really use.
We're proud of the fact that the Onyx app was developed in Montana. It's headquartered in Missoula, Montana, and if those of you who are Onyx users, sometimes you look at the map, which I was out in the backcountry this past weekend, it's multicolored.
Yeah.
Because you see the BLM ground, you see the National Forest ground, you'll see the state ground, you'll see private ground and so forth, and I'm hoping, despite there's multiple colors there, we could find a streamlined way, because at the end of the day, when you're on a trip like that, you want to be able to get through efficiently as we come across these various federal agency pieces of ground. So thanks, Mr. Chairman.